are, for the most part, working with non-readers and writers. And so when we think about doing things, we always kind of get hung up with what part can they do and they can't do. So we think more about what they can't do. But what we forget is where kids are at 6 and 7 and their first experience into school, and that's what first grade is all about. We're the ones showing and guiding, and so we're training them in how to behave, how to be kind to each other, how to be independent. Yeah,
service learning really helps them do.
Right, and how to think without interrupting their neighbor, being courteous. So when we did our what is community and what does it look like in the classroom, it was such a perfect fit for first grade, because that's just an ongoing thing. And like Shawntae was saying, first graders, they're the easiest ones in all the world to do inquiry with.
Because they're always asking, what happens when I do this?
And tell me.
And tell me. You got a lot of ideas.
They do. We needed the kids to come to a point where they were working together and solving a problem. So after we had built what is community, and we started with the broad community and narrowed it down to the classroom, then they decided that they wanted to do something outside themselves, and they wanted to help the homeless. And this all came through brain, coming to the circle and talking and sharing and listening to them. And then when they decided they wanted to help the homeless, they decided that, I said, well, no, that's great. We can collect things, we can do this. And I said, you could bring money from home if you want, and they were like, no, we don't want it to be from our parents. We want to earn it. So then they start brainstorming that end of it, and they came up with that they had a lot of toys that they needed to get rid of. So could they have a yard sale? So we did a toy yard sale, and then the moms jumped in and they did a bake sale. And we ended up raising, I think it was about $360, and we picked the Corpus Christi house to donate to, because they have a step-up program which helps people that are on the street get their GEDs. And then after we did that, presented them with a check, then 2 representatives from that program who work with the people that have gotten their GEDs came to the class and thanked them and told them how their money was used. They had bought calculators for the students that were coming in, and expressed to them how valued they were for what they did.
So Nancy, I want to make sure I understood something that you said. Teaching community and a way of interacting together is a core part of your first grade curriculum
yes.
and way of life.
Right.
And through that, your first grade students decided that they wanted to help other people in their community, yes. The community that is beyond the rooms, the walls of this classroom.
Exactly.
And they picked homeless.
Yes.
And they decided they didn't just want their parents to give money, that they wanted to do
yes.
something.
Yeah.
First graders can do that.
First graders can do that.
Sometimes people don't think they can.
Wholeheartedly. I mean, it doesn't take much prodding. But they are able to think beyond those boundaries of just themselves. And it takes a while to get there. I mean, it really does. When they first come into the room, just being in school is a hard thing, because they're coming from kindergarten, half day. So there's a constant process and talk of how do we build each other up as a community, and how do we look and we work together, and we're a family, and how do we get to know each other. So there's a lot of sharing that goes on to start to kind of plant the seeds.
Well, and I think a big part of that is how you talk about school. The school doesn't feel like this totally isolated thing they just do for part of the day. That, they're not just in the classroom, that they're part of the whole school. Mm-hmm. The school's just this little microcosm of their neighborhood, their community. And do it.
Do it.
But you just gotta go all in.
You do. And I think it sounds intimidating,
mm-hmm,
because it sounds like, oh, we're taking such little kids and they're not going to know how to do it. But when you start doing it, there isn't any area that we don't cover that you don't start looking at as inquiry. And so we can do inquiry with the stories that we share on the carpet. We can do inquiry with science. We're finding science is just a natural for saying that. Shawntae started I wonder. And the I wonder thing has gone into how do we get to know each other, into graphing, into math. And it's just like this huge snowball that once you start it, it's like it just grabs you and just takes your whole curriculum with it. It's phenomenal.
And I think you'll be really surprised by how much the kids lead you.
Yeah.
Like at first, it is intimidating, and you're secretly planning how you're going to lead them because you're afraid that they won't be able to do it on their own. But then you're surprised they'll take you a whole new direction. And
oh, absolutely. That's how we ended up having the toy yard sale.
You didn't plan the toy yard sale.
I did not plan on helping the homeless. I mean, that wasn't, that was just how we had started building community, and they're the ones that said, well, we want to help the homeless. So. I hope more people will do this. Our schools are looking for ways that engage our children where it's not so teacher focused anymore in their learning, because they know from research that that is not the way to reach out and teach people. And if they will give this a try, they're just going to have such a feeling of relief that they've found something that really makes teaching exciting. And it's not one that you can just go in and you have this programmed way of doing things. You have to be very flexible, and it's just, every day is exciting.
And as a student teacher, it's really taught me how to have purpose in everything I teach. Everything has this end goal, everything has this bigger idea, and it all becomes just one big, it's just like life. Everything is interconnected, and I want it to feel that way in the classroom too.